There are two different methods to convert an assembly file into a single part file in SOLIDWORKS. There are several reasons you might want to do this. For example, to reduce the size of a large assembly file to a smaller part file, or to increase performance of a large assembly. Another reason might be to share a complex assembly without sharing the proprietary details of the design. The first method is to simply do a Save As with an assembly open and change the file type to a part file. For example, this table assembly has a total of 11 components. To save it as a single part file, I can use File, Save As, and change the Save As type to Part. When I do this, some additional options appear at the bottom of the dialog box. These are the different ways that the assembly data can be saved into a single part file. Selecting exterior faces will save only exterior surface geometry, which will result in a part file with only surfaces. The exterior components option will save any exterior components as bodies, meaning if the table assembly had any internal components that cannot be seen from the outside of the assembly, they'll simply be ignored. The last option, All Components, will save all components in the assembly into separate bodies in a single part. Rather than using the Save As Part technique, you can also save an assembly into a single part file by using a command called Join. This process actually creates a new part in the assembly that is the combination of all assembly parts joined together. First, a new part must be created in the context of the assembly using Insert, Component, New Part. I'll call this part Table Assembly Join. SOLIDWORKS will prompt me to select a face to serve as the front plane of the new part. Selecting the front plane of the assembly will result in matching standard views between the new part and the original assembly, so I'll select the front plane. I don't need to create sketch geometry, so I'll exit the newly created sketch. At this point, I'm in Edit Part mode, editing the new table assembly join part. I'll launch the Join command found under Insert, Features, Join. I'll select the components to join from the Feature Manager tree. In this example, I'd like to join all the components, so I'll Shift-select all of the components in the tree. The checkbox, Hide Parts, will hide the original parts from the assembly when the join feature is completed, and the Force Surface Contact will add solid geometry between components that are not completely touching. Now, I don't want this to happen, so I'll leave it unchecked and click OK. Unlike using the Save As Part method, the new joined part does not inherit the color properties of the individual components. It can be opened independently from the assembly, and you'll notice that the feature tree shows a single join feature. The join feature can be expanded to show the individual components that make it up. Also, notice the arrow next to the join feature. This indicates an external reference to the original assembly, so any changes made to the original assembly or its parts are propagated to the joined part. This is a critical difference between using the Save As Part method we looked at first and the Join method. Using the Save As Part method completely breaks the relationship between the resulting part file and the original assembly. Keeping this in mind, you can now save your assemblies as individual part files using the method that best suits your needs.